Talal here. I'm here at prospective alderman for the 21st Ward, aldermanic candidate, uh, Kerry Wilson. I'm here at his office, and I'm about to ask him a few questions, get his perspective on the ward, and ask him a few questions that some citizens here in the ward wanted answers to. So, Mr. Wilson, how are you today?
How you doing, brother?
Really good. I, I, I've talked to some citizens here in the ward, and I went around and asked them if there were any things that they wanted to ask you if given the opportunity, and so I just put a list here together, and I'm going to go through it.
That'll be fine with me.
Okay. Could you please introduce yourself to people who don't know you?
My name's Kerry Wilson. I'm a retired St. Louis City firefighter. Spent 20 years of my life working for the city, working for the citizens. I'm an ordained deacon. I'm a homeowner and resident of this ward.
I see. Could you explain the different demographics of this ward?
The ward is predominantly African American. I would say 99%. Mostly middle to lower income folks. Folks struggling, trying to find that light at the end of the tunnel.
I see. What makes your leadership and your administration, why would it be the best option for the citizens of the 21st Ward?
Well, for one, I'm a citizen myself. You know, I've worked for the city, as I stated, and I understand the goings on inside and out of City Hall. More so, I recognize that when the people around me are struggling, like myself, we need better leadership. We need a change. We need leadership that's going to bring jobs to the community, and I don't mean any small-time jobs like minimum wage type things. We need some industrial things in the city. We also need to make sure that when those businesses come to this ward, that they hire from this ward. We don't want to see signs all over the place saying 40%, 70%. If elected, I would see to it personally who they're hiring, because I want to see the applications. I want to see the addresses on the applications. I want to know that when you come to the 21st Ward, you are hiring people from the 21st Ward, especially since you're making money off the people in the 21st Ward.
Why is it important for people to have accessible leadership in their communities, and will you exemplify that accessibility?
I'm always available, and it's very important because you work for the people. I'm sitting here right now doing some work. You know, when you're a public servant, you are a public servant. I spent 20 years as a firefighter. A few other years in my life I spent working as a reserve police officer. So I know what it means to serve the public, and you have to be accessible. You have to be.
So, for instance, if some undecided voters wanted to reach out to you, send you an email, ask a question, give you a call, or whatever, do you have, for the campaign, some contact information that people could call and ask questions?
My phone number is 220-1552. It hasn't changed in over 20 years.
Is that 314 area code?
That is correct.
Okay.
I live right on the corner of Holly and Rosalie. I have the house with the black wrought iron gate around it and the red privacy fence. All you got to do is knock on my door.
I see. Who are you backing for mayor?
I am not quite sure who I want to back right now. I do believe that both candidates running for that position have their road to toe. I do believe that whomever is elected by the city overall, I would do what I have to do as an alderman to work with that person. It's not about being excluded from city politics or from the rest of the city. I do believe that an alderman or the board of aldermen should work cohesively, work together for one good. As we say in my club, for the good of the order. And if it's not for the good of the order, then you got a problem.
I see. So a lot of parents that I've talked to believe that an elected school board is better for the children as opposed to a state-appointed school board. How do you feel about this, and why?
I believe that whatever the situation is, whatever that structure is for a school board, it should be a cohesive unit. We've had problems at state levels. We've had problems at local levels. I think that people ought to exercise their due diligence and examine the candidates or examine the people that we put in these places so they'll know what they're getting. It's just like when you go to buy a car, you shop, you look around, you know, and you take your time and you make the choice on the type of vehicle you want. You should do the same doggone thing when it comes to putting people in place whose salaries you have to pay.
Is there a scheduled debate for you and your opponent Antonio French, whether it be public or private? If so, when? If not, are you interested at all in having a debate with him?
I would very much love to have a debate with Mr. French. Right now, there's nothing scheduled. The people on my team, we're trying to set it up through the League of Women Voters, and whenever they get it ready, I'm ready.
Okay. A lot of citizens in this ward and citywide have expressed to me that in theory, surveillance cameras seem like a good idea to neutralize crime, but in practice, the cameras violate their privacy more than keep them safe. What are your thoughts on that?
I have a series of thoughts on that. First thing is, anything that's done out in the public is public, so there's no expectation of privacy whenever you do whatever you do outside of the confines of your house. So the other thing is, in my opinion, cameras don't stop crime. Cameras just take a picture of the crime. We need more police on the streets and engaged in patrols. That's why they call them patrol cars. The police should be on the street making patrols, doing their job. The citizens should help the police do their job, and maybe then we'll have a lot safer streets. I don't want to see a picture of what happened to me. I want what happened to me to have not happened.
I see. In your opinion, what is the essence of the gun violence here in the city? What has been done about it, and what needs to be done about it?
Well, there needs to be more gun control. That's obvious. That goes without saying. But it's really kind of hard because there's so many social views and so many social points on that. The bottom line is we need more gun control. We need to make sure that when people go to buy these weapons, that a thorough background check is conducted. And even then, some things slip under the cracks. You know, let's just keep it real here.
This is a question that I got off of the internet from one of the viewers of the channel. They're a gun advocate. They are a law-abiding citizen. Been on the job for decades, and they do believe in their right to bear arms. And their very specific question was, is it legal for citizens to carry concealed weapons in the law-abiding citizens to carry concealed weapons in the 21st ward? And what are the current gun laws good for the city of St. Louis?
Well, according to the United States Constitution, which was crafted long before any of us become civilized, so to speak, the law states that citizens do have the right to bear arms. Now, you have to pay attention to the word "bear" and what the context that it was meant at the time the Constitution was drafted. Opinions change just like the time. So with that said, yeah, it's perfectly legal to bear arms. As far as carrying a concealed arm, I don't think there were many pistols back in the day when America was being revolutionized, so to speak. The other thing with that is, I do feel, yeah, people ought to have the right to protect themselves. Law-abiding citizens should be able to protect themselves, and if the law permits you to carry a firearm, then yes, you should be able to carry one.
And so I just want to make sure that the question of my viewer was answered. So is it legal for law-abiding citizens to carry a concealed weapon within the 21st ward?
As long as the laws of the state say they can, yes, they can. And the 21st ward is part of the city of St. Louis. City of St. Louis is part of the state of Missouri. And as long as the state lawmakers say that it's perfectly fine, once people pass the background checks, once they take the necessary training, that's the law.
I see. Okay. Okay. So last but not least, I want to get around to some things that have been going on in the news and some things that people who frequent the 21st ward can see visually with their own eyes. These campaign shenanigans. I've seen Kerry Wilson signs vandalized.
And missing.
Well, if they're missing, you know, I've seen on the news where the signs were being stolen. But
Yeah.
but I have seen with my own eyes obscenity spray painted on your signs. I've also seen Antonio French's signs on the news. I've seen them being stolen.
Okay.
What is this all about, to the best of your understanding, and why do you feel that this is going on, and what should be done about it?
Well, again, I've got several points with that. One is I do believe that it's ridiculous because signs don't vote. The people vote. But as candidates, we rely on those signs to get our message out to advertise for us. That's basically what they are. As far as the thefts are concerned, I saw the video. And the only video I saw was signs being stolen from the front of Mr. French's front property. Now, my question is, with everybody knowing that there are cameras in front of his house, who would be that silly to go and steal the signs from the front of his house? More so, if you take a look through the ward, those are the only signs I've seen being lifted. The only evidence of any signs being lifted. Everybody else has signs in their yards, his and mine. So you take it for what it's worth.
And what do you think it's worth, Mr. Wilson?
What I believe, and it's just what I believe, is that there are people out here that obviously don't care for Alderman French, and they will do what it takes to vent whatever frustration, and I think that frustration is, or that venting is, taking his signs. I do have another train of thought about that, but that would make me level allegations against Mr. French, and I'm not going to do that right now.
So, have you seen? There was a sign, I believe it was over on Fair. It was one of your signs, and it had an obscenity spray painted on it. Have you seen that? I believe it has been removed. So you didn't see that?
On Fair and what?
I believe it was there was a banner on the fence at Harrison School.
No, that was French's sign.
Oh, so that was one of French's signs.
French's sign.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody tall with a ladder and really hated him to get up there and do that.
Right. Well, excuse me for the misunderstanding.
At that intersection, which is pretty busy most day and night, that's silly.
Okay. Well, is there anything that you would like voters to know, just throughout the city and specifically here in the ward?
Specifically here in the ward, I would like to let voters know that I work for you. I'm a public servant. Done it for a long time. I'm always reachable. Always. I'd like you to know that there's time for change. There's time for leadership that has transparency, honesty, and integrity. And I pledge to give that to you. As far as the city is concerned, if elected, if blessed to be your next official for the 21st Ward, I would do my best to try to bring things together in City Hall, because as we all know, it's pretty fractured as well. And I think it's time out. Let me give you a prime example. In the firehouse, it's been 20 years in the fire department. With the racial diversity that was once a challenge, we have 2 black privates, 2 white privates assigned to an engine company. The captain, well, we can't split him in the middle, make him half and half, but they try to create racial diversity in the fire department. I'm looking to accomplish that not only in the police department, but in most of the departments across the city. There needs to be some more fairer hiring practices and promotional practices. Based on my experience with city government, it is time to fix it.
Mr. Wilson, thanks a lot for sitting down and granting me the interview.
I appreciate you.
Have a good one and good luck.
All right.